The film starts in Russia, where a family of 3 is enjoying their time by the river. Sergei Aleshkov, the youngest of them, brags to his older brother and mother about being on top of a tree. Suddenly, German fighter jets fly overhead. The mother urges her kids to hide in the bushes, but the brave 6-year-old claims he's not scared and shoots a slingshot at the jet. Surprisingly, he hits the jets and they explode. However, when he looks around, his family is nowhere to be found. Sergei wakes up from this terrifying dream and calls for his mother. Just then, someone knocks on his door. Thinking it's his mother, he rushes towards it, only to find a panicked neighbor woman. She thanks God for keeping him alive and informs him that his mother and brother have passed away. The little boy struggles to understand what she's saying and insists on waiting for his mother in the house. The woman explains that the Germans have attacked and advises him to run away. As soldiers approach their house, the woman helps Sergei escape through the window but gets shot before she can join him. Now, the 6-year-old is all alone, without any family or friends. Sergei flees from the burning neighborhood, desperately calling for his mother. He continues running until he finds himself in the middle of the woods. Lost and scared, he cries out for his mother to come and find him. That night, he stays in the jungle. The next morning, he drinks water from a river when he spots enemy soldiers approaching. Knowing they're dangerous, Sergei quickly hides inside the roots of a tree. He gets startled as a snake slithers nearby, but remains silent and doesn't flee. Sergei is more afraid of the soldiers than the snake. After the soldiers leave, he scavenges their leftover food and eats it for the night. However, by the end of the day, he is exhausted and hasn't had a proper meal in 2 days. Despite limping and falling down, he continues walking without stopping. Along the way, he finds wild berries and eats them, but is startled by an explosion behind him. Feeling dizzy, he hallucinates someone approaching him, but he bravely claims to have a rifle and shows no fear. Eventually, he collapses and loses consciousness. While he is asleep, 2 soldiers find him and bring him to the Russian army base. Commander Kuznetsov waits for his patrol soldiers and is surprised to see the injured and weak little boy with them. The soldiers claim to be on his side, and the boy introduces himself. The soldiers laugh and show affection towards him, providing him with water and food. Even the commander takes care of him, and a nurse named Katya tends to his wounds. The boy asks her to draw a tank on his wounds, expressing his desire to be a soldier in the future. The injured soldiers also interact with him and find solace in his presence. Sergei is fascinated by the commander's gun and badge, and the commander answers all his questions and allows him to play with the honorary pistol after removing the bullets. Sergei proudly displays the tank drawn on his stomach and boasts about his own experience as a soldier. The boy's recovery is progressing rapidly, and Nurse Katya pleads with the commander to allow him to stay with the battalion. However, the commander disagrees, concerned for the boy's safety, and plans to send him to an orphanage. Despite this, the soldiers continue to spend their free time with Sergei, bringing him food and even letting him play with their binoculars. One soldier, deeply connected to the boy, approaches the commander to request that Sergei be allowed to stay. The soldiers have formed a strong bond with him and consider him as their own, providing them with a sense of relief from the burdens of war. Despite the commander's initial resistance, a change of heart occurs when the enemies attack and many soldiers are injured. The commander informs Sergei of his impending departure to the orphanage and presents him with a wooden honorary pistol as a parting gift. In a touching moment, Sergei expresses his fear for the commander's safety, leading the commander to reconsider. He asks Sergei to stay with the soldiers as his son, and the soldiers joyfully search for little soldier clothes for him. As Sergei runs around in his new attire, the battalion faces an air attack from the Germans. The soldiers quickly protect Sergei and engage in battle, resulting in a growing number of injured soldiers. Wanting to contribute, Sergei brings water to the thirsty soldiers and even reads a letter for a wounded soldier with bandaged eyes. The young boy, eager to assist, lacks the ability to read. However, he takes the letter and improvises the contents, assuring everyone that the soldier's cow is safe at home. When the soldier denies having a cow, the others encourage the boy to continue the story and they all share a laugh. The boy proceeds to read everyone else's letters in a similar manner, bringing joy to their hearts. In the next scene, Katya and the commander engage in a conversation, displaying an undeniable attraction, yet neither confesses their feelings. Later, Sergei, the boy, informs the commander that he is now an orderly in the battalion and introduces himself as one. However, he witnesses the destruction of a soldier's station during an attack. The commander teaches him to pay respect by removing his hat when passing the fallen soldier. The following day, Sergei insists on being assigned a mission and is tasked with distributing letters among the soldiers, which he accomplishes efficiently. He even manages to make the soldiers dance for him. On another day, Sergei ventures a bit further from the base with his binoculars. While playing with them, he spots movement from inside a haystack and rushes back to inform the soldiers. Although skeptical, they follow the boy and discover 2 German spies hiding underneath the haystack. The spies are apprehended, and Sergei is commended for his intelligence. That night, the commander presents Sergei with adoption papers, officially becoming the boy's father. Aware of the commander's feelings for Katya, Sergei decides to repay his kindness by helping him confess his love. However, they mistakenly assume that Katya is interested in another man when they see her talking to someone else. Suddenly, the base is attacked by the Germans once again. This time, Sergei puts all his effort into helping the soldiers by providing them with ammunition on the front line. However, the soldiers order him to return to the shed because it is too dangerous outside. When he arrives at the shed, he witnesses the commander and others panicking because they have lost connection with the colonel through the phone. A soldier is sent to fix the broken wires, and Sergei follows him only to discover that the soldier has been fatally wounded. Sergei asks the dying soldier for guidance on fixing the wires and takes it upon himself to do so. Fortunately, the connection is restored, and more troops are called. The brave 6-year-old saves everyone's lives. Later, we see the commander and Katya having a conversation by the river. Finally, the commander confesses his love for her and asks her to be Sergei's mother. Katya is ecstatic, but before she can respond, a soldier approaches them and delivers a letter, informing them that they have been dispatched from the base. The next day, all the soldiers, including Sergei, leave for their new base. However, on their way, they encounter a minefield that causes some of their vehicles to explode. The commander is injured, and the group's orderly, who Sergei was close to, dies in the blast. Sergei cries and embraces the commander. They carry the injured individuals with them and continue their journey to the new base. Finally, when they arrive at the other base, they meet the commander's leader, the general, who is also impressed by Sergei's determination and congratulates the commander. The following day, their division and Sergei are awarded a guard's banner. Sergei promises to protect his country when the general presents him with his badge. Unfortunately, one night their base is brutally attacked, and the commander becomes trapped under the rubble. Sergei desperately cries for his father and attempts to save him. He calls for the other soldiers, who eventually manage to rescue the commander. The following day, Sergei approaches a wounded commander, his hands injured from his attempt to rescue him. The young boy has become an integral part of the team, with no family of his own and following them wherever they go in the war. The movie concludes as the regiment is observed relocating to another base. In the background, a voice narrates that he even participated in the Battle of Stalingrad and eventually made it to Poland with the soldiers. He is now recognized as the world's youngest soldier ever, and his legendary tale of bravery has spread worldwide.